And welcome back to the Flickering Torch podcast. This is Mr. Dead Scott.
And Smithus.
And here we are. Once again, we'd like to thank you guys for listening. Well, thank the one person for listening. You're our real true fan. our true one fan.
Your loyalty is disturbing.
Yeah, a little bit at this point. So, again, welcome back. I was visiting some friends out of state, and they had a watch store, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And so their promo thing was like, hey, we got your Overwatches, yeah, we got your Hammer watches, we got your Firewatches, hell, we even got watches that tell time, because we'll walk in here. So of course we're making jokes about different games of watch and such. So we're gonna focus on Firewatch today. I know we're doing a game review as opposed to mechanics or something. I'm scared too. That's why I've got beer and my blankie. I'm a little worried.
That's all you need on any given day.
Details.
But I think it's a good thing because it includes so many mechanics and it is well done. And it was a
beautiful game.
Beautiful game, but it was also deserving of the Game Awards that happened this year, which is another topic we talked about. So I don't know if you guys have heard about or have seen Firewatch, but it's an indie game. Mm-hmm. It's not published by a AAA developer. So I don't want to give the story away because it's an amazing story with twists, turns, and...
Well, I suppose here would be the good time for the obligatory spoiler alert. This is... here's your chance to turn off the podcast, which... sometimes we would recommend.
Yeah.
And play the game.
Yeah, if you haven't played it, don't listen.
Yeah, please don't, because we're going to ruin it. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way to talk about it without ruining it.
There's no multiple endings that I know of. I don't think there is.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, so don't listen to this if you haven't played it, because the ending, the whole progression of the story is very important, and it's very grabbing. And since it can't be changed, don't spoil it for yourself.
So with that, this is your last chance. We're going to give you 3 seconds. So 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi.
Trace. Trace Mississippi.
I don't understand your language.
Okay, so now that's aside. Simple explanation is...
it's a story game.
It's hands down story. There's not a lot of action. Well, the game creates action, but you don't do a lot of action events. It's not like a shooter. It's not like use equipment, things like that. It's just you.
It's more of like an interactive story that you interact with different objects and things to kind of progress the story how you see fit. So there's a little bit of freedom in how you respond to things, which is nice. You don't have that silent protagonist that you would normally see. But there's a lot of walking, and because we'll walk in here.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love Rick and Morty. So with that, the game is you're Henry. You're this guy who takes this summer job being a Firewatch lookout, where you're stationed in a national park and you're looking for fires. Of course, things happen during that process. There's even a fire.
2 fires.
That's right, there's 2 fires.
Yep. That
take place. And so the game is definitely way more than it appears to be. Of course, we're going to ruin it a little bit. Because the opening of the game was fucking beautiful.
So intense.
Oh my God. It was I would say it was near flawless. I mean, because it started out with something innocent as and you don't even witness this. This is more like storytelling through text, and it's you're at a bar and you meet this girl.
You make stupid jokes.
And you make dumb joke because you're drunk, and it tells this beautiful story of how your 2 lives are intertwined, and then he gets to kind of the twist to where she's diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's dementia or memory loss issues of some sort, and it gets stupid sad really quick.
Yeah, dude, it's instant knife cut. You are intensely reading it because it's just white text on a black ground,
More or less, yeah.
And then you're just going through these story events, and they only give you 1 or 2 or
2 options,
I think. Yeah. And it's oh man, I don't want to screw this up.
Yeah.
And it's so grabbing, but you only have these options, and normally you're would I do this? And it's very gripping. And then then they instantly just stab you with a knife. It hits the feels pretty quick.
It's beautiful and brutal at the same time.
And then the story then leads you to shit went worse than you would ever expect. So you had to get away to
kind of figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, to get us a breather. So you took a summer job as a Firewatch.
And then the game actually becomes interactive at that point. You're actually, like, I thought the intro was pretty good. Like, you're actually walking in the park to your Firewatch station.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was really cool.
You start the story, and then, as you walk, the little prompts pop up to continue the story. It's kind of like reminiscing of, like, the placement of that. It allows you to, like, if you're taking this job in real life, the same thoughts that you're trying to get away from are probably going to be running through your head as you're walking to this new getaway. So I think that was brilliantly placed.
No, it was excellent the way it was done, and like the controls are really simple. Your standard movement, but the one of the really cool things is that the game itself is so damn beautiful. Like you don't need really anything advanced. Like this is literally something that this is a game you play to experience, not necessarily play for the
not for the mechanics or anything like that. No, like just starting off, you kind of like. It's really tough to choose between continuing the story and stopping and looking.
Oh yeah, I found myself doing that all the time.
I was like, do I want to stop and look? But like, I gotta know, or I have to. Sorry, English. I have to know the story, and it's like, am I truly on a time limit? Which I don't think you ever are in the game.
Not really. Like I did fiddle around a little too much once, and it got dark. And so it got kind of tricky.
Yeah.
But I found a flashlight, thankfully.
Yeah, you found one early.
Was helpful. But, like, I remember, like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go there on the map. And I'm like, okay, I should probably finish the story because there wasn't really, aside from the beauty, not much on that side of the map.
Yeah.
And then it's, like, it's dark. And it's really dark. Like, there's no in-game timer. And I don't think it really punishes you per se. But the story is told in... like different events that happen to you over the course of your time there in days.
Yeah. So. And it does skip days. But
a lot of them.
Back to the beauty, it has some of the best sunsets, sunrises.
Oh my god, the animation is absolutely gorgeous. Just the overall appearance is phenomenal. The lighting is just absolutely stupid beautiful.
And the assets or the art style is really simple, like super simple. But like the way the lighting works is so brilliant. It makes you feel like you're kind of like in the wilderness. Like this is like somewhere you'd want to visit. It's pretty. But one good thing is it is a very story driven, and if you felt like you're rushed, there is an exploration mode after which I don't think I realized at first. So like me being torn between like finishing the story and exploring, which is a good feeling to have because the game's doing it right if it makes you want to do multiple things. But there is that, so if you want to just go through the story and really focus on it like more of a novel kind of thing, you can, and then go back and explore all the beautiful sights. I don't think there's any punishment for doing that, but I always felt like there would be.
Yeah.
Because like I guess I put myself into the characters too much, but...
Well, and that's the cool thing too, is like the characters that you really encounter are very limited, but so deep and actually well written and designed. Because most of your interaction is with your quote boss over walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets kind of fun, because you do get options on how to kind of explain how you feel. And so like for me, I know in my playthrough, because it's a short little game, it's maybe like 5-6 hours at the most.
Yeah.
Most of the time I was trying to be, kind of laid back about it, and like my responses would be funny. But if like a scenario had caused itself to be serious, I actually tried to put myself in the shoes of Henry to try to see how he would feel about that. Because I remember at one point in time, like I honestly felt, based on how the story was progressing, that maybe my character was hallucinating and that I was talking to nobody at one point in time. And like it was actually one of those moments where it's like, holy crap, like that is that the twist, that like I'm talking to myself and the walkie-talkie doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's
actually pretty good. I didn't choose that option. I know which option you're talking about though. But no, I like when I put myself as Henry, I was kind of like the total distraught, like torn person who came to the Firewatch, and over time, and it was like, oh, it's nice to actually attach to the person in the other tower. Like I'm like a wounded individual, and like of course I'm going to be standoffish at first, but then choosing all the jokes and stuff, and then growing that attachment with the other person towards the end, I'm like, holy crap, like, wow, it's like those options actually make you, feel that way towards the other characters, which is insane.
Well, and like I kind of like too, like how as the characters kind of developed and as the story developed, the game itself actually had really good pacing.
Yes.
When it came on to unlocking the entire park that you could explore, like you couldn't just like go to one place right away because maybe there was a tree in the way, or a thick bush, or like you didn't have like I thought it was great with like the rappelling parts.
Yeah.
Where like you didn't have rope to go down this steep ass hill, so you couldn't go there.
Yeah.
Eventually you were able to, and it did kind of give you, but it kept you focused, but it paced it out really well.
Yeah. The map size is really well laid out to kind of pace the story in between. Like, you have plenty of time to answer prompts. Like, maybe only once or twice did I stop to answer something, but usually I think because I was looking around on what direction I was going, like looking at the map, because there's no like mini map or anything. You have to actually pull up a map, and
which I thought was a cool mechanic.
Yeah. So like the map size was brilliantly laid out to give you plenty of time between A and B to figure out the prompts, and like there was perfect amount of wording, and the pacing was great because I never felt like rushed having to like, oh, I haven't run out of time to get an answer and think this. I had plenty of time to read through it. I had plenty of time to like get the story and think about my options as I was walking to the destination. At some point I forgot I was walking, going to a destination, like kind of like when you do when you're actually like deep in thought when you're walking. You're like, you're walking and stuff, but you're just kind of like deep in that deep concentration.
Yeah, you're not actively thinking about walking.
Yeah.
Because you're walking here.
Yeah.
That's my last one, I promise.
So like the pacing was really great. I cannot give the devs and the designers enough credit for.
Yeah, like I almost wish it got a little bit more awards than it did, because I know we talked about that briefly in one of our past podcasts, but like that game it was beautiful, it was emotional. It reminded me of like when I had first played like the Telltale series of like The Walking Dead, and like how I felt about my decisions and my answers.
Yeah.
Like where you actually connected with this character because it was so realistic, it was so believable, it was so, I don't know where I'm going here, but like I could see myself maybe going through that exact same situation saying, fuck it, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go work as a Firewatch for a summer because the hell else do I have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Like, got to get away from reality. I kind of wish the game was longer, but at the same time I don't, because it's like perfect length, but at the same time I'm like, I do want more. Like, I would love to continue developing these characters. I want to know what happens in their life after the Firewatch.
And see, like, I'm okay not knowing, to be honest with you.
That's the thing, is it's like, I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It's because, like, you make a decision to do this, and it's like, well, do they see each other anymore? Like, what?
Well, that's the thing, too. Like, I do wish that, like, maybe I chose my options a little bit differently in the end, because if there was an opportunity to meet Delilah, I think that would have been kind of cool to see how her character was designed.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in your head, like, the way I imagined her was the way I would individually imagine her, whereas yours was probably different versus some, our one loyal fan who's listening is different as well.
Yeah. Which is brilliant.
Yeah, and it's perfect the way they did that. And, like, it was... And when you finally get to her tower, it's kind of funny because, like, you notice that, oh, she's the one that stole the sign that you had commented about on, like, the pond.
Yeah.
And then, like, like, there was the drawing that she drew of you that she said she was doing that I just didn't believe that she was actually drawing me.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much what I described to what I looked like to her, even though I couldn't see what I looked like.
Yeah. Which, there's no pictures of her, right?
No, not that I know of.
Which I think is like a phenomenal decision, because you grow attached to the words and reactions of the character, and you don't have this like visual like image of her being like, oh, I don't like her because she looks this way. Like you can fall in love with the character because of who she is, her personality, just her, and you're not set back by any images. Like our imagination of who Delilah was is probably way different,
Oh yeah.
So I've found that outstanding as well.
That was perfect, and it's just a wonderful way to lay everything out. And then, excuse me, the main story. Yes, I'm drinking because this is Flickering Torch podcast. The main story, I'll talk about that a little bit, was so interesting because it, you followed this personal tragedy that you went through to cause you to go out there, and then you find even more tragedy along the way. But the way it's done is so subtle until when you reach that key point, which I am not going to talk about because you really need to experience it fully, unaware of what's going on, was so deep and impactful. Like, I actually stopped at that point in the game and didn't even touch the controls. Just sat there in my chair and processed what the fuck I just saw.
Yeah.
And what just happened, and piecing it together and figuring it out. And it's like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it is literally like, you thought you got hit with a sack of bricks the first time. No, that was just the precursor to the wall that came down on you, in my opinion, near the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
I did the same thing. Like,
oh my god.
When you go into, let's say, this shouldn't spoil anything, a cave.
Yeah.
And, the door closes behind you, right?
Yeah.
And when you look down, I don't know if you saw it, but
the shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
That started getting me...
snap.
Yeah,
I'm
that got me thinking a little bit.
Yeah, that got me thinking. And then when you come back to a later point in the game to find...
Yeah.
You can't get rid of it. I can't say it because it's just so...
Yeah, no, don't say anything.
Yeah, it just, that made me stop. I'm like, oh, dude, no.
Yeah.
It killed me.
You figure it out and it's like, oh, great. Like, I think I'm just going to go cry for half an hour,
Yeah, and I'm glad the game explains it. Like, they explain, oh, I found this, or whatever, and they explained what happened, because, without that explanation, I'm like, no, that's not real. That's insane. I can't believe I feel this way. But, I mean, one thing they did about the feelings, too, is, they have an anchor. Delilah's always the anchor through all the
That's true.
crazy
She kind of is the saving grace to kind of keep you going and moving. But, when I thought... maybe I am hallucinating over all this, because after witnessing all of that and experiencing all of that, maybe I am experiencing, or maybe Henry is experiencing such personal grief and trauma, which sadly I'm an expert in, that he really is beginning to lose his mind.
Yeah.
Just because one person is not designed to go through that much pain that quickly.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's subtle hints here and there, and I thought the collectibles that you could pick up were really cool. And I like how in your Overwatch tower, you found the remnants of someone who was there before with the did you pick up the D&D map?
Yes.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was awesome.
I love that.
I thought that was great because they took the in-game park and made it into a fantasy D&D world of here's Ogre's Pass, and that's the part where there's a thin rock you can cross as a bridge,
Yeah. Which makes me wonder, did they play D&D over the walkie-talkies?
Well, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know how much communication between the other towers they had. Besides Delilah, I don't think she was...
Because Delilah was your main hub, because you knew there were other Firewatch individuals out there, but you didn't get a chance to talk to them or run into them.
Yeah.
Which I thought was good.
Yeah. No, just having the two character interaction was...
Because, Henry was in such a state that I don't think he would have talked to other people aside from the person he had to answer to, because why would you?
Well, yeah, because he doesn't open up as a character. He's just kind of, short, and he's like, jokes, yeah, this is funny, and then, it just kind of, slowly spills the beans over it all, and it just keeps bugging you.
Yeah, oh
which
my
I
God.
think, which
yeah.
is, I'm like... Okay, yeah, I don't mind sharing it. You've been this kind to me, this open about things. Well, yeah, no, it was amazing. God, it's so shitty not to be able to explain the story.
We really shouldn't talk about it because I mean, even though we've given a first spoiler warning now, to drop that bomb would be unfair to anybody who plays the game.
I didn't want to leave at the end. When you said you had to make a stop, when you finally get to the ending, I didn't want to leave the game at all.
See, I was so caught up in the actual story, of it, where there was that massive fire going on. I'm like, helicopter, sweet, here I go.
Yeah.
I was cool with it, but...
Well, the thing is I want to go to the helicopter, and then there's a helicopter waiting, but I'm like, so it was right there the whole time,
well,
And I'm like, all right, I got my camera, the evidence, but I was in shock the whole time. It's just
See, you're fortunate because like I blew all my camera pictures before I got to that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like I didn't have any. I wasn't able to take photos of what I had witnessed, which I thought was actually, like personally, I thought that was a good thing. It's like I'm kind of glad I don't have any more pictures because I don't need to take a picture of this because in my mind, what was happening was justified. It was sad, but it was justified. Like I could understand that grief process.
Oh yeah. Hands down.
But I never took pictures.
I did just for evidence because of the twist in the story. Like,
yeah, I took pictures of the scenery more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did that too. I never took all the pictures. I didn't get that achievement.
Really?
I didn't know there was an achievement to do so. And I forgot I had pictures after a while because I was so gripped by the story. And then towards the end, I'm like, oh, I should take pictures of this. Like, this is probably something like, because I didn't know where the story was going to, until the end, you're like, that is holy major twist. Like,
well, and the story ending comes so quickly, you sometimes forget, like, oh shit, I gotta get moving.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, maybe I should take pictures.
Like, I was collecting evidence, and then like toward the end, I'm like, well, this isn't evidence anymore.
Did you find the pet turtle?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, me too.
I had to pick them up, but I had to take pictures because I'm like, I just want to remember this because this is like holy shit.
Oh yeah.
So the pictures went from evidence, like a necessity, to like, holy shit, I want to remember this kind of deal. So yeah, the game has so many amazing elements. For one, the beauty, and like the wanting to roam and versus continuing the story, just as like that ending piece, and the damn helicopter. The alternate game mode, I'm glad they added. Because I kind of want to go back and explore, but I haven't yet. I think I uninstalled it due to my space because I played Doom right after, which was like 90 gigs of awesome but bullshit.
I'm not ready to like go back into it yet. Yeah. Like I knew the option was there under like special features. Now that I completed the game, I could go back and explore, but it's like I felt like I wasn't prepared to go back yet. Like I knew I could, but like the story with the impact that it left, it's like, God, do I want to go back and free roam? Like I kind of feel like I experienced it and I'm okay with it, but at the same time it's like, oh, it'd be so cool to explore that part of the map I wanted to go to, but I didn't have time.
Yeah, I think it does. It definitely needs time to settle because like it's just it's like, I don't know.
It's a heavy game.
It is. It's just something you need to take back and like absorb. I don't know. There's no moral to the story at all, too.
No.
So it's
you
just
take
like,
away whatever you want.
Yeah. So it's just like it just really hits you, and you just gotta absorb what's there, and it's amazing. And it's like I didn't want to continue it either. Like I don't want to go back in because I want to keep those feelings and the thoughts and what I imagined. Towards the end, I wanted to be there. But if I go back and explore, I'm afraid that like I'll have different opinions of things.
Yeah.
And it might make me rethink. That's why I don't want to go back and replay it. But at the same time, any wording or detail or feeling or personality I missed, I want to try that again. Or explore that route, like different chat options to see what. But I've been hesitant to because. Like, I'm like, should I play it? Should I YouTube it? Or...
And so with that, I almost think that, like... Because I'm kind of that same boat. It's like, do I really want to go back and replay it and try a different route? And I think Firewatch is a game you need to play first, experience it honestly as you would feel.
Yeah.
Your gut reaction in that scenario. And then bookshelf that thing.
Yeah.
For at least, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
And then go back and try it again. Because at that point, you may like need the refresher or the recourse or want to try the new, different approach to it. Or it has replayability. It really does, even though it's a short game.
Yeah.
It has replayability, but only in... maybe since you kind of know what's happening, do you want to explore the option like, do I just want to be a standoffish dick?
Yeah, exactly.
Or do I want to remain completely silent throughout the whole thing and not respond to Delilah at all?
Which you have the option.
Yeah, you have the option not to.
I accidentally did that once because I got stuck on a map and I'm like, I don't forget the buttons to do it at the beginning. And he's like, I'll just let that one go. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the response wasn't too bad, but maybe towards the end it might be. But the thing is like, I was so attached and grew to that character so much. If I go back and play it, I just feel like it wouldn't be me personally. And like that story, like that's why I was thinking YouTube, because that's not me making those decisions.
It's someone else making it.
It's someone else's idea of the game. I really like how I was Henry and how I chose those options. I really don't want to change who I am.
Well, that's
that
the nice thing,
story.
too, is, like, in that beginning entrance with the text, you get the feel for more or less who Henry is in one form or another.
Yes.
You kind of get that. So it's a little bit easier to sway your conversations because it's like, oh, this is probably how he would answer, even though you have the freedom to answer as you want to answer. Like, you can be funny, you can be sarcastic, you can be standoffish, you can be silent, you can be a dick.
They all fit his profile, too.
Sadly, yes. And surprisingly, yes.
Yeah, like, I just didn't realize that till now. It's like, not only is it how you kind of want to answer to your personality, but it also fits his because he's going through a trauma, so he could be a dick. He's naturally funny, like, just by that joke of how they were dating and stuff at the beginning, you know, or... I forgot the other style of options, but
it also shows that like he's compassionate and caring because of what he had gone through and what he's still going through, and what he did to try to make things right, you know, like and I thought it was kind of cool how there was the little bit of the undertone of like, you know, he has like a bit of a drinking problem, and like I don't know about you, but every time I found a beer can or a beer bottle, I picked it up and cleaned it up.
Yeah, I did too.
Like
I didn't know that you could do that option for the first. I think I don't know the first time you hit the lake or whatever.
Yeah.
But on the way back, I realized there was that option, and I did that, but then I cleaned it up.
And it's like, even the times you find alcohol that is drinkable, like, he, as a character, is almost like trying to go through, like, a recovery system where he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, oh, this is really good, but it's not time for this. This is not appropriate. And it's kind of cool to kind of see that kind of personal transformation into that.
Yeah. I mean, he was actually kind of standoffish, too. During Delilah talking about her heavy drinking. He's like, God damn it, Delilah.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like, I don't know if you noticed that character progression kind of thing. But that actually makes sense, because I forgot he was...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually been a few weeks since I played. So now I kind of forget a little bit, but I still remember the emotions that it put there. Which is, I don't know any other game that did that much to the feels. I mean, there are some spots in games, but that whole game was so gripping and intense.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head of a game like that I would use as that deep level of emotion throughout the entire experience.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, Telltale's series, like, any of their series that I've played, mainly The Walking Dead, because it is so gripping in that aspect, but those were, like, key moments in the story.
Yeah.
Where, like, you really felt that way. Firewatch, you pretty much felt that way almost the whole time because you knew there was this underlying gnawing thing that Henry was going through. But at the same time, you could choose to ignore it or you could choose to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I felt like, you know, if you really are getting away like he is, he would begin to slowly process it. So you could talk about certain things or, like, maybe just, like, you know, just think, fuck it, I'm just going to dump everything I have and feel and explain it.
Yeah.
Because I did that with Delilah when she started to get me to open up a little bit. I just dumped everything.
That's what I did too. Yeah.
Because it's like that would be like the safest way to do it. It's someone you don't know. It's a faceless entity you have never met before. There's no consequence in explaining everything. There's no negative response in just explaining how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I said about the entity, you don't know, you can't judge her, you don't really know her.
And even she explains a little bit of her backstory too.
Yeah, she was nice enough to be like, okay, here, let me open up first, and now you.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually worked perfectly, because I'm like, you know what, if she's nice enough to do that, then, you know, here it is. This is it. If whatever you think of it, you think of it. You know, you're you're a stranger, you know? So here's the shit. What is your opinion? And, like, the reaction to that, she's like, wow. You know? It's like, I didn't know. But, like, I love how she, like, tells you at the beginning, too. It's like, so why are you out here? No one comes out here and takes this shitty job unless they have to get away from something. And she even admits it herself.
Yeah.
You know? She's like, I've been doing it for, like, 10 years or whatever. She's like, no one comes out here unless they need to get away from something. And it's like, oh, so you know already, you know?
Yeah, it's like,
something.
okay, so there's no hiding, so fuck it, why not?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And that's why I'm glad she prompts. Like, good, just pry that person open. You know, and that's how feelings can be. It's like you just gotta pry it open sometimes, and it just comes flown out. So what else?
Oh boy, we didn't really look at the script as we're.
Yeah, no. Well, we kind of touched on everything. Responsive conversations, yes. Like I said, I kind of want to see like the non-answerable outcome of everything.
Yeah, the different trees that the conversations can take you.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, I don't think there's different endings or anything, but I want to know how the character development. But I don't want to be that person because, like, I have that feeling of my choices. You know, I might have gone back and make 1 or 2 choices, but I'm not going to play the same route because I made those decisions at the time. You know, it's like real life. You can't go back and, you know, re-say things.
There's no reset button?
Yeah, no.
Wait,
tried.
what?
Yep, there's no multiple lives.
Damn it, someone lied to me.
Yeah, I know.
Ah.
I blame Mario. It started there.
Yeah. That damn plumber. Oh, gosh. I mean, so, final thoughts, more or less?
Yeah, I guess we'll keep it shorter. I'll go down my thoughts. My thought list. It's a beautiful game. There's a huge beauty in it, even with a simple art style. There's that tie between wanting to roam and continuing the story, which is brilliant. If a game could do that, it's well made, because it's keeping you tied in. It's not like some of those open world games where you're like, story or just roam, kind of like, like a Skyrim almost. It's not really gripping. The alternate game mode's brilliantly added. I'm glad it's at the end unlocked and not the beginning, because if you knew the area, it wouldn't pace itself well. The simple mechanics, just like, I hook or rappel and I rappel down here, or hit the shift button to talk on the walkie-talkie, click prompt, and then like a few buttons for lights and other gadgets. Brilliant. Mm-hmm. You don't need anything more. You're freaking out in a tower. You don't need a gun or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say there's no need for action. The couple times where you do run into a potentially dangerous scene, like I got attacked by a raccoon. I don't know about you.
Nope, I didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Like it was perfectly like done the way it was set up.
Yeah.
Like so it wasn't even necessary for me to like defend myself. Like
plus,
I also got attacked by hornets.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think I ran into the hornets, but I didn't get attacked a while.
Okay, yeah, I got or maybe it's a bee or I don't know. My character clearly has just wanted to hurt himself. It would appear.
Yeah, you live your life on the edge, man. But then you get the responsive conversations. Delilah is always there on the other side of the line, and a few times I click the walkie-talkie, like, should I respond? No, let go. Respond. I cared about it. It was responsive. It was great interactions. I think everything was well said every time you said something.
Yeah.
I would always love more dialogue because I want to know more about the characters, but that's just me being obsessive. I didn't know what to expect. When I picked up Firewatch, I didn't read into it. This is the huge thing to me about this game, why I wanted to talk about it, though, is I didn't know what to expect. I read it, and it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to go watch for fires. I'm like, what could these mechanics be? I'm like, it was for the game of the year. It was a nomination for Game of the Year. Had no idea. And so I picked it up, and then it instantly hit you in the feels. And then you have this twist in the middle of it, and then it just keeps on twisting, and then gets really intense, and then it's just kind of like, at the end, it's so emotion spilling. Had no idea. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so I'm looking for fires. And it turns out to be the most emotional roller coaster game I've ever played, which is okay, and I love it, but I'm glad they didn't get that expectation.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think my thoughts on it would be like the game itself is just this beautiful experience, hands down, and like it is great because like I thought the same thing. It's like, oh, it's a story about a dude in a Firewatch tower. Like, there's got to be some sort of twist to this or something,
right?
Engaging in one form or another. And I think this would be great in VR. By the way, I think that game would be fucking beautiful in VR.
I would love to see it in VR. Yeah.
I think it'd be phenomenal. Heads up for you guys if you ever choose to make it VR compliant. Go right ahead.
Yeah, if you have VR and if it's there, do it.
Yeah, but the game itself, like not knowing a lot's going into it, and then the story itself is just great.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what are you thinking?
If you're wearing a VR headset, no one could see you cry. Oh man!
Shut up. I'm not crying. You're crying.
That was like, that was too perfect because like. Covers your eyes. No one will see you cry because it will make you want to cry.
I'm not crying. You're crying. No, but it just a wonderful game. I mean, totally worth every penny in it. I mean, and it's so nice to see, like an indie developed game. This is kind of like the age of indie games at this point, I'd argue. That's so beautifully articulated and just done just I can't say enough good things about it. But just stop listening to us and play the damn game.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that an indie developer has done so much more than companies with billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has gripped me. Simple, there's lacking mechanics, but a game doesn't necessarily need it. But it gripped me so deeply, and it was only made by just like a handful of people.
Yeah.
Compared to like people who have billions of dollars who make these games and release them. That I'm like, meh, it's like, yeah, it was good mechanics and graphics, but that's it. It's kind of empty. So that's applause to them. I go indie. Yeah, I love the indie age, and this is proof, along with Stardew, of course.
Oh god, yeah, Stardew hands down. But this is a close second. So I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I forgot about that. Why did Overwatch win so many things and Firewatch not win more? I'm just saying.
God, do we want to talk about this?
Well, no, I'm just saying I had to put that note in there. It's just because like I didn't know what Firewatch is at the time, and that might have been the reason why it didn't fully win more categories. But maybe it's just being an indie compared to like a massively
AAA.
Yeah.
And sadly, that's kind of the way it's probably going to always work. But I mean, and I think it's the same kind of concept when it comes to like Undertale. Like Undertale is this like, according to everybody who's played it, this life-changing game almost, and beautiful and wonderful and great experience. But for those who haven't played it, you can't really connect on that same level. So there's almost this cult following.
Yeah.
And so of course the underground following, a cult following, whatever you want to call it, is always going to be those really passionate individuals that want you to play it. And I would say the same thing about like Firewatch or Stardew. Like, dear sweet God, play it right away.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think we're so used to a society as AAA games and products keep coming out. Of course, they're gonna have the most attention because they have the backing to advertise the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Because like Overwatch in the beginning, I remember when they were advertising it, like I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like, and then I figured out it was like kind of like a Team Fortress 2 kind of style thing. I was like, oh cool, that'll be kind of cool to see and kind of awesome. And then started playing it, and it's like, yeah, it's fun, but it's not my kind of cup of tea at this point.
Yeah.
And especially with personal stuff that's going on, it really wasn't the right time for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's very true. But I guess I'm out of comments. I just want everyone to play it.
Yeah, please do yourself a favor and buy Firewatch and play it.
Yeah, I think
it's worth every penny.
$15, $19.
I got it on sale for like 12, I think. So
yeah, actually no, yeah, I got it on sale too for like $13, I think. So it's pretty cheap, but it's probably one of the most memorable games you'll have. But I mean that's it. Let us know what you guys think of Firewatch and if it deserves all the praise we're giving it, or if you had problems. I'd love to know because I didn't find a problem with it.
If you think it's shit, let us know because we'd love to chat about it.
Yeah. And then you're a horrible human being with no emotion. I kid.
And there goes our other fan.
Yeah. But so that's it, guys. Thank you for joining the Flickering Torch podcast. This is Smythus
and Mr. Dead Scott.
And you keep. No, you're not gonna keep walking here.
No, I said I was done.
Okay.
I was done. You can do it if you want.
No.
Let's hear your impression.
No.
Come on.
No.
Yeah, do it.
All right. I'm walking here.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm not from New Jersey.
Neither am I.
I have class.
Oh.
Just kidding. See you later, guys.
All right. See ya.